So welcome in B1. We back at it. You know, part of the new black media's job is definitely to expose and bring to the forefront those who are adversaries to the cause, even if they look like us. In fact, especially if they look like us, because those are the ones that have potential to be most effective. And those are always the first front line of offense that the enemy sends at us. It's always those who look like us first who we have to get through before we could even have some of these battles. This is how we've seen reparations start to get more momentum. This is how we've been able to get more justice with some of these police attacks against us. We had to get through the coonery that was sent our way to neutralize us first. So the latest of some of the slander from Taharka Bey towards Tariq Nasheed. I'm gonna play you a couple clips and we're just gonna break it down and we're just gonna look how ridiculous it is. But it doesn't matter how ridiculous it is, because if you noticed, like if you're in social media and you're posting certain things and you get resistance, you'll notice that it's not like what they say makes sense. Like, think about the arguments against reparations. They're nonsensical. That's not the point. The point is just to distract, to neutralize, to undermine, and just to throw enough out there that they know that there'll be some goofballs that will go with it. And that's really the point. Just to deter as many as possible and raise suspicion or cast doubt on those who are actually doing the work. And this is what we're seeing happen in real time. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. Let's go ahead and check out some of the rhetoric and some of the craziness that is being spoken by Agent Taharka Bey.
So check this out. Also, y'all remember that Tariq Nasheed, for some reason, they won't let him in the UK.
US or UK? Okay. Alright, cool, super. Bye bye. So the UK government didn't get entry.
The UK government denied my entry. Wow. They didn't give a reason why. They just said
That's all she gave.
And he knows why. He knows why. His background is coming forth. I mean, this is obvious. He is suspected of being in with the marshals under the witness protection programs under the name of Marcus Sanders. The FBI is suspected and alleged that the FBI is his lifetime handlers. It's suspected allegedly that this guy have been having these handlers for the long time. He's not banned from the UK. He's not banned from the UK from scamming. He's banned from spy activity, as I like that, bro, and why? For spy activity for the CIA or FBI, allegedly, you know, because that's what everything points to.
So that's actually was a point that I was trying to make when I couldn't find the clip from the other video that I made, where he was allegedly, or he was implying the same thing. So he's basically saying, as crazy as this sounds, that the reason why Tariq Nasheed is banned from the UK is because he's a FBI spy. Well, first things first, the FBI doesn't spy. See, you know what I'm saying? Like you can pull this when you are the shepherd of a short bus. And when people who are within your audience and your contingency don't know small things like that. The FBI is not a spy organization. That would be the CIA. They deal with espionage. Central Intelligence Agency. They deal with espionage. That's the first point. And the second point is, how much sense does it make that the FBI is tapping Tariq Nasheed to spy on the UK? Does that even make sense? The United States government spying on the UK, that in itself would be crazy. because the United States is the child of the UK. Number one. Number two, they would not send a outspoken black person who only denounces white supremacy and has been part of a new black media apparatus that is actually pointing the finger at both of them and exposing their white supremacist operations and helping to codify the grassroots in a way that is pushing the needle towards justice and reparations. It doesn't make sense. None of that makes sense. So he keeps saying allegedly. That's where the information is pointing, but there has been nobody who has said this except for him. And the irony of this is the fact that a couple of things are ironic about it. One of the things that's ironic about it is that he is trying to sue Tariq Nasheed for slander and defamation for calling him a sex offender, even though it is on court documented paperwork. Yet, for the past almost year, he has been making allegations like this. Like I said before, I think he's really just trying to blow his case. I don't think he wants to go to court. Because to go to court means that paperwork has to come on the record. It also means, because I suspect that his the actual crime that he did that put him on the registry, because remember, to be on the registry, you have to be convicted. But his records has been sealed. But for the purpose of defending himself, Tariq Nasheed's lawyer will be able to call for that record to be unsealed for the purpose of defending himself against a liability suit. So I don't think he really wants to do the court thing. I think he's really trying to blow it. He's trying to throw it.
I mean, that's what everything points to. They either know that he actually works for the FBI and they know the background that is associated with him, allegedly, and they not going for it.
So he's trying to say allegedly because he thinks that that's going to shield him from any type of smoke he may get for the slander that he has been hurling towards not just Tariq Nasheed, but the whole new black media, really. More specifically Tariq Nasheed, but really he's throwing shade and trying to undermine the whole new black media movement and those of us on the grassroots who are actually getting results done collectively. But it really absolutely makes no sense for him to allege that Tariq Nasheed is working for the FBI and that's why he can't get into the UK. If anything, that would help him get into the UK. Like, what information are they tapping a Tariq Nasheed? Hey, we need you to get some information on the UK. Like, was he meeting with the Queen? Was he meeting with prime ministers and lawmakers? And like, it makes no sense, but it doesn't matter. Because when you are the shepherd of a short bus, you'll always have some people who will believe you or who will buy into it. You see the crazy conspiracy theories that people are believing these days? That's what he's banking on. He's really just banking on the tethers, those who hate us, that support him. And they don't support him. They support the idea that somebody is attacking Tariq Nasheed because Tariq Nasheed and others have been pointing out the hypocrisy within this Pan-African movement with how a lot of people from the diaspora who are not FBA continue to undermine and attack us. And they don't like being called out on that. So as a result, they all get together in a big cabal of attacking FBA.
You can fool some people some of the time, but you ain't fooling them. You know what I'm saying? Because he has slipped through quite a few times. But listen to all of this interaction. Now, another thing I want to add before I get to the next thing. People suspected that, even right here, people suspected that after Tariq Nasheed interviewed.
So here's the second part. So the first thing that he's saying that we're going to talk about is the fact that he's saying, listen, we know why the UK doesn't want Tariq Nasheed in the UK. The UK is a small country. And someone that has enough influence to codify even Black Britons, because remember, right here in the US, we are the most codified, the most conscious, the most aware, the most fightingness against white supremacy globally, and what we do trends. So no matter what it is, whether it's hip hop, whether it's the way we dress, the way we talk, whether it's ratchet or not, what we do, people mimic. So the last thing they want is for Black British citizens to start getting information that would put them on code and give them a better edge against fighting against their challenges. So when he dropped Buck Breaking, that's pretty much when they wanted to shut things down. All these hidden colors, all these movies and documentaries and the history and what it does to inspire and motivate. Yeah, they see that as a problem. Farrakhan can't go to the UK either. That's what they do to those who are on grassroots, beloved by our people and not favored by the mainstream or by those who place coons, tethers, and agents before us. If you're not from that fold, they don't want someone with high influence to be able to go over there. But it gets worse. It gets even more audacious than that. Because now what he's going to do is he's going to imply that Tariq Nasheed has something to do. And this ain't the first time he's said this. He's going to imply that Tariq Nasheed has something to do with the murder of Nipsey Hussle.
Nipsey Hussle, that his location was given suspiciously, that either he had a tracking device. This is what is suspected. This is the plebiscite Bible. That
exactly, it's plebiscite babble.
After a little while, right after he interviewed Nipsey Hussle, that a tracking device was able to track him and able to put Nipsey Hussle in the clutches of the one that actually dealt his demise.
Now, of course, this is the most asinine theory, the most bogus scenario of conspiracy that you can come up with. That Tariq Nasheed had Nipsey Hussle bugged, and that's how homie found him. Because everyone who's followed that story, and I did, the day he got killed, I was actually live on air at that time. I actually got a call while I was on air on Black I Stand Radio of somebody telling me that Nipsey Hussle was shot. And he was shot in front of his storefront. You don't need a tracking device. Everyone knew he was there because he pulled up there frequently. It's not like they found him in some remote location where he's not generally at. No, he was where he be at, in front of his store. People knew. He was taking pictures. People were posting the pictures. Everyone knew where he was at in the town. Not only that, Tariq Nasheed did the interview weeks before that even happened.
That's what's talking on the internet. That's not what I'm saying.
Literally, I haven't seen anyone imply that Nipsey Hussle was murdered as a result of Tariq Nasheed. No one. If the streets even thought that was the case, Tariq Nasheed would not be safe operating openly out in the public in South Central LA, Crenshaw District.
That's not what I'm saying. That's the talk on the internet. That's the talk when this happened. That some kind of way he had a tracking device, and that's how that happened.
That is not how that happened. And no one is saying that. But you see, he doesn't really care if it's true because he knows his audience is not going to fact check them, for one. He knows the bulk of his audience, they don't really keep up with Nipsey Hussle, because they're not involved with grassroots people who are real, who do actual positive things in the community like Nipsey Hussle. They're not privy or aware or have knowledge about these kind of things. He's just reaching for anything. This is what agents do. Provocateurs. And remember, as many times if I've shown you the documentation of him being a sex offender, him being a multiple woman beater, multiple child abuser, a scammer, not even really part of the Morris Science Temple, not really even a Grand Sheik. The person who made him a Grand Sheik was kicked out of the Morris Science Temple for messing with little boys, literally, no cap. But I don't mention enough the fact that that Taharka Bey is a documented snitch, certified snitch. Paperwork exists, and I've read it before. DPS or DSP of Multimedia 2, Onslaught Multimedia 2, exposing Taharka Bey. She's read the paperwork. Yes, he's a snitch. He snitched on that first case that he caught, which is why he got a fraction of the time of his co-defendants. He gave up their whereabouts and the plot. This is documented. I have the paperwork if anyone's interested. I've showed it before. If you want to look through the Agent Bey playlist, or if you want to check out Exposing Taharka Bey, if you want to check out Onslaught Multimedia 2, we've read these paperwork before. He snitched, and then he wrote a letter to the judge. That's how he got out early. And then just as you have it, all the shenanigans that he's done, he hasn't been back to jail. And then the last straw, the coincident, if you want to call it that, the coinky dink, is that the same week where he should have been going back to prison for being found guilty of an assault in the second degree, he starts Morris World TV that same week. And as you can see, Morris World TV is a platform dedicated to attacking grassroots activists from the black community all over the country. His latest target has been Tariq Nasheed, but it hasn't been his only target. And most of the people that he's attacked are people that he's befriended. You're telling me that this dude has the best interest of our people? Making up absurd claims? You're telling me this dude is really gonna go to a courthouse in LA after making these allegations and bringing Nipsey Hussle's name into it? You think he's gonna really win a case, or he's really even gonna continue to pursue the case? And all this ain't gonna come up? The clout chasing? You think he's gonna be able to sue for defamation and slander when that's all he does? And you don't think the jury is gonna see right through that? You gotta be kidding. See, but this isn't new. It's not a new concept that we get attacked. Those who are in the grassroots doing real things get attacked. Black I Stand Radio was attacked. White supremacists would call in. They do everything from trying to cleverly troll to trying to befriend and say slick subliminals to just straight up using the N-word, tree swinging monkeys, and just going full blast hate. Even this channel has got hate. My Twitter gets hate from white supremacists all the time. And I don't even have a big Twitter following. Tariq Nasheed gets trolled. The Black Authority gets trolled. Every single new black media platform at some point comes under attack from white supremacists. But who you don't see come under attack are people like Taharka Bey. Because why would you? He's only doing what FBI agents used to do in the past. Like, check this out. This is Fox News attacking Tariq Nasheed.
That has endangered so many black men in the past. And another race-obsessed lunatic named Tariq Nasheed called Comrie a, quote, suspected white supremacist woman. He even claimed one of the teens had paid for the bike and she tried to steal it from him. His tweet has been seen nearly 5 million times.
So if you want to know why he is not allowed in the UK, it's because of this. It's because he has influence. This is why even the Fox News has to address him. Why? Their job is to undermine those who have influence that can mobilize. Remember, this was part 2. This was goal 2 in counterintelligence. Neutralize, undermine those who have the influence and capabilities or potential to unify and energize grassroots black nationalism. That's what they do. Prevent the rise of a messiah, someone who has characteristic or a charisma that can capture the attention of the grassroots and spark revolutionary activity. Revolution being defined as complete and constructive change. So if you're seeing a grassroots movement that has put reparations on everybody's tongue, from politicians to media personalities to the grassroots, that's a problem. If you're seeing someone or an apparatus of new black media and grassroots activists who now are able to get police charged, convicted, and jailed for murdering black people, well, that's a problem to the status quo. Historically, that is the type of people and organizations that have come under attack here in the United States of America. On the other hand, you have someone who's willing to do the same bidding that the FBI used to do. This is why you don't see smoke coming at those who come against us. These platforms who act like they're really about trying to educate and let us know and expose the dirty deeds of these grassroots activists. But they don't get resistance from white supremacists. They don't get resistance in hate and trolling and mentions from the mainstream in order to turn the masses against them. Taharka Bays don't get that type of resistance. They don't get that kind of smoke. And I'm not saying that's the telltale all. I'm just saying it's something worth considering. Look at these people who are always going against the FBA movement, the reparations movement. They don't get attacked. Fox News isn't concerned with them. The average Rudy Poo white supremacist who's sitting at home just mad because he doesn't want to see black people get equal to them. They're not worried about these cats. They're worried about the new black media. That alone should let you know something is suspicious. Now, let me play you. I don't want to go through the conspiratory rabbit hole of why Nipsey Hussle was murdered, but let's see what else he has to say.
You know what I'm saying? When you look at Tax Tone that was in the.
So now he's putting any black person who's been killed or had a problem, it's all Tariq Nasheed. This is just how powerful Tariq Nasheed is in his eyes. He doesn't understand it's really the movement that people are coming against. In his mind, everything wrong with black people it comes from Tariq Nasheed, pretty much. But if we're gonna get down to some conspiratory rabbit hole of why Nipsey Hussle may have been murdered, even though they used an agent, Eric Holder, because he was a snitch. A snitch is an agent. A snitch is an operative of the government because the police is local government. So he's a snitch and an agent the same way Taharka Bey is. But also he owned property that he wouldn't sell as they're trying to gentrify South Central. And he's been getting pressure. He's been getting hate from the police for the longest time. But this is a conversation that went down on Ism Radio, hosted by Tariq Nasheed, and I remember watching this.
Shocked.
Yeah.
Man, what do you think about the gentrification that's going on out here in LA, man?
I mean, it's a lot I think about it, for real.
Where the hell are black people in LA now?
Lancaster.
Yeah, Lancaster.
Palmdale.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get a house for a couple $100,000, a 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom out there, and you see the crime going up. You see they moving. You know, it was like, I take it, I wasn't around for the last migration, but I heard it from my granny stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going on right now. They relocating our people.
Yeah, absolutely.
From policy. You know what I'm saying? And they building a train down Crenshaw. They spending $3 billion on that development. You know, and that's having an effect on the price of real estate.
Yes, it is. They always, when they want to move people around, they start building freeways and train stations. This is the Harbor Freeway. That's what fucked up South Central LA. That turned it into the hood when they built the Harbor Freeway.
Right.
Central Avenue used to be the shit.
Jazz and everything, right?
Yeah. That was the business district.
Right.
Yeah, the black business district. So yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah.
So if you know about the Nipsey Hussle situation and how he bought pretty much a block, and he was doing all kinds of things to stimulate the economy in that community and to help the youth and reach out to the grassroots and the streets and put them on game, building education centers, entrepreneurship centers, different businesses right there in the Crenshaw district, right there on Slauson. And if you know that the police been coming against them, the city's been coming against them because they want to buy that from him and he wouldn't sell it. So they're trying to gentrify like they have so many black neighborhoods, even where I'm from. And I've been part of different movements where, you know, trying to stop the gentrification in Seattle. I'm just saying, if this is a $3 billion situation, as they claim in South Central, the gentrification efforts, that could be a motive. And when they do things like this, especially as of late, they always send someone who looks like us because they learned their lesson after MLK. So now they send someone who looks like us, that way it doesn't look like it was a hit by the government. They send someone who has a compromised past and who has worked with them before, like Eric Holder, like Taharka Bey, compromised past, lengthy criminal record that he should be in prison for. So they gave him another assignment, attack. This time it's just not physical, because we know when it comes to physically attacking, Taharka Bey is not that dude. So he's gonna attack him social media wise. It's not new. This is how Fred Hampton was murdered. This is how so many organizations have been slandered by our own. Use somebody with a compromised past that you have leverage over, flip them, and send them to neutralize their own community.
It's heavy.
But you know, not to cut you short.
No, go ahead, brother.
I think that it's always a silver lining in everything. And so I think that to benefit off of it, we got to be entrepreneurials.
Yes, we do.
I mean, in an entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah.
And we know that the impact these developments like Inglewood. I got a homeboy that.
So yeah, it's not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop. We're gonna continue to get this type of pushback. And the first line of pushback we're gonna get is from people that look like us. And this is why it's important for us to remain codified, stay disciplined, stay focused, call out and expose these agents, coons, and tellers so that we can identify them in the future. And that's what we've been doing a good job at in the New Black Media. Make sure y'all like this, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Let me know what you think. But once again, you know, and that's why this doesn't stop. So like I said, my prediction is Taharka Bey will not want to pursue this defamation case because it's going to expose his record to do so. It will risk exposing that sex offense case, which will kill his credibility with his audience, and he knows that. I personally think he's trying to sabotage it. I said it from the get-go. I didn't even think he would go as far as the file, but I guess he had to file because he raised that money to do so. But he hasn't lawyered up. He hasn't been talking about it, and I don't really think that he's going to pursue it. I don't think it will get anywhere. But if he does believe, then this is what you have to think about as well. If he truly believes that Tariq Nasheed is an operative of the FBI at such a level that they would send him to spy, even though that's not what the FBI does, to spy on UK, and that's why he can't get into UK, why would he think that he would be able to pull off a victory in court against him? That's crazy. If Tariq Nasheed has been used to hit Nipsey Hussle, why would a scary ass nigga who got slapped and ran really think that he could see him in court in his own hometown and beat him? If he really thought that. He doesn't really think that. He doesn't really believe that Tariq Nasheed is an agent for the FBI. None of that stuff he's saying. He doesn't believe none of it. He's just throwing it out there so that other people will run with it. So I'm saying it doesn't make sense. It don't have to make sense as long as enough people will believe it or it causes enough distraction. But guess what? It ain't stopping anything. All they're doing is solidifying their own legacy of how they're going to go down. And I love it. Because like I said before, back in the day, people were able to pretend that they were down with our movements years later because we didn't have social media. So the same people that was going against King, X, Panthers, et cetera, are the same ones now that will tell us that they were with them. And we don't find out till years later that they really weren't. Now we're seeing it in real time. So the legacy and the more that you're going to remember is going to be the Agent Bey and everything he did to undermine the aspirations, the legitimate aspirations of our people, because that's all he has done, is went against the legitimate aspirations of our people. He's not in touch with what we're trying to do. He's not a supporter of anything that we're trying to do or any organization that's doing anything for our community. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it once again with something that hits the spot for this situation.
Unity party with punks. This ain't, we all not gonna be together. This ain't no damn unity party with punks. This ain't no unity party with people who don't want the true liberation of black people. This ain't no unity party with betrayers and snitchers and hypocrites and weak-minded, weak-blooded, spineless black people. This ain't that kind of party. So you take your raggedy ass on home. But those who want liberation, those who want to see black people really free at last. You walk away from these punctified Negroes unless you unite the like-minded of us, whether we are Christians or Muslims or nationalists or agnostics or socialists. If we are like-minded on reparations and on justice for our people, we We are brothers indeed. But a black face ain't gonna make you no brother today. Go ahead. We tired of these black-faced, white-hearted. Go ahead, say that. Masquerading as though you love your people. We see you.